Hello everyone and welcome to Guide Informatica. Today we are going to show you what we think are the best offline games for Android. In this video we will present you with a selection of the most addictive and fun titles, perfect for having fun without the need for an internet connection. Before we get started though, I remind you that you can follow game and accessory offers on the Video Giochit Telegram channel. I'll leave the link in the description. Swordigo is a game that perfectly combines HD platforming and action RPG, bringing to mind classics like Zelda and Ghost of the Goblins. The gameplay is built around simple sword and spell attacks that allow you to accumulate experience and improve your character. But the absence of directional attacks makes some enemies, especially flying ones, harder to handle than expected. Graphically, Swordigo looks like a version of Swordigo's graphics similar to those of the original PlayStation games, with improved fluidity thanks to modern hardware. Although the visual aspect is not outstanding, the game world design is large enough to stimulate exploration, and there are several puzzles and secret areas to discover. The control system is simple and customizable, but limited by the nature of the touchscreen controls, which are sometimes inaccurate. One of the most enjoyable aspects of Swordigo is the soundtrack, which manages to create an epic atmosphere despite some similarities to the sounds of The Legend of Zelda. In conclusion, Swordigo is not a revolutionary title, but it offers a solid RPG platformer experience for those looking for a long-lived adventure without distractions typical of many modern mobile games. Soul Knight is a perfect mobile game for roguelike lovers. Its simplicity does not detract from the fun. The economic system is also among the most generous in the mobile landscape, with no aggressive microtransactions or invasive applications. Soul Knight is distinguished by an impressive arsenal of more than 120 weapons, sweeping from pistols and rifles to rockets. Lightsabers, and even absurd weapons such as fish-firing G-lasers. Each class has unique abilities that affect gameplay. For example, the knight can wield two weapons at the same time for a short time, increasing damage but consuming twice as much energy per hit. Energy, in fact, is an important resource, as most weapons except basic and melee require it to be used. One of the most rewarding aspects of Soul Knight is the ability to obtain passive upgrades between levels, such as an increase in maximum health, immunity to certain types of damage, or the ability to deflect enemy projectiles with melee weapons. Even so, the game is not without its flaws. Progression can feel slow and repetitive, and often skill upgrades do not offer a significant impact on gameplay. In conclusion, Soul Knight is a fun and well-built title for a short game, although it does not reach the heights of the most popular roguelike games. However, considering that it is completely free and free of unfair economic practices, it is definitely worth a try. Oceanhorn presents itself as an adventure game that, although it takes inspiration from classic Zelda idols, manages to stand out that it has both an engaging storyline and a unique atmosphere. As a young boy armed with sword and shield, one ventures off a safe island in search of his missing father, Hunter, or perhaps the prey of Oceanhorn. Oceanhorn makes no secret of its inspiration from the Zelda saga, taking in the number of enemy elements and dungeon helpers early on, via the oceanic navigation of Wind Waker. However, while still recycling these familiar mechanics, the game manages to infuse a personal touch with themes of magic and technology that evoke an atmosphere closer to games such as Final Fantasy. Graphically, Oceanhorn is visually vibrant and well rendered. Performance is solid, with only occasional frame rate drops, but overall it plays smoothly even on older Android devices. Conclusion: Oceanhorn does not hide its roots, but still manages to deliver an enjoyable and entertaining experience. Scary Mansion, formerly known as Unlucky Postman, is a first-person horror game that manages to combine suspense, puzzles, and a creepy atmosphere. The game begins simply, but immediately the atmosphere begins to change. After the seemingly innocuous beginning, the protagonist finds himself in the heart of a house that seems to be hiding more than it appears. The entire experience is based on exploring the mansion, solving complex puzzles, and avoiding the dangerous Doctor Who. One of the most striking aspects of Scary Mansion are its HD graphics. The game environment is incredibly well realized, with graphics that amplify the eeriness of the haunted house. In terms of control, Scary Mansion offers a simple and responsive system. Using a D-pad on the left side of the screen, you can move nimbly around the house with a quick response that makes exploration and escape from danger quite intuitive. The real challenge in Scary Mansion is the interaction with the environment and the need to carefully plan each movement. The house is full of objects that you can use to solve puzzles and unlock doors, but often these objects are not immediately obvious. You will need to be alert to your surroundings at all times, meticulously exploring each room to find out what you need to continue. Scary Mansion, in conclusion, is a horror game that knows how to keep players on the edge of their seats. Its combination of impressive graphics, frightening environments, eerie soundtracks, and strategic puzzles makes it a compelling experience for those who love the genre. Although Badlands is a game released a few years ago, it still manages to stand out for its freshness and innovation. This title, with its neat design and intuitive gameplay, has caught the attention of many because of its art style and simplicity. You start a solo campaign and are immediately immersed in exploring a strange and eerie forest. The controls are simple, just tap the screen to flutter two tiny forest dwellers, trying to avoid deadly obstacles using the various power-ups scattered along the way. One of the key aspects of Badlands is that not all of your clones will survive. To prophesy, some find to sacrifice themselves, and while your little friends may seem adorable, the game quickly reminds you that the goal is to get at least one of them to survive to the end of the level. With over 80 levels available in single-player mode, each level offers a different challenge. In addition to single-player mode, Badlands also offers a multiplayer mode for up to 4 players on the same device. Another element that sets Badlands apart is its level editor, which allows users to create and share custom levels. This, combined with hundreds of levels created by the community, ensures impressive longevity and replayability, making the game a complete and fulfilling experience even years after its release. Shadow Fight 2 is an action game that combines RPG elements with classic fighting. The core concept of the game revolves around shadow fighting, where the player must face similar opponents each with their own abilities. One of the most impressive aspects of Shadow Fight 2 is the fluidity of movements during fights, and the emotions are realistic and reflect typical martial arts movements. In terms of playability, Shadow Fight 2 stands out for the simplicity of the controls, which allow you to easily control your character during fights. The visual style of the game, with fights depicted as shadows, creates a unique atmosphere. The soundtrack and sound effects are also well rendered. The music is unobtrusive but creates an engaging atmosphere, perfectly accompanying the action. In conclusion, Shadow Fight 2 is a game that manages to mix simplicity with strategic depth. Two Dots, the sequel to the popular Dots, released in 2013, is an engaging and fascinating experience. The concept is simple: connect 2 or more dots to remove them from the playing field, but this sequel introduces challenges, obstacles, and power-ups to keep the game interesting and fresh. The design of Two Dots is an explosion of color and creativity. Compared to its predecessor, the game has a more youthful look, with imaginative illustrations, animations, and menus, which also extend to the backgrounds of the levels. The game is divided into thematic worlds, each with its own unique theme, such as an underwater world, an icy tundra, a volcano, or a fiery forest. The gameplay is simple but winning. Connect 2 or more dots of the same color to eliminate them. And as in the first Dots, forming a square of dots removes all dots of that color from the board. In conclusion, Two Dots is a worthy sequel to its predecessor, with a neat design and well-balanced levels that provide a fun experience. Dunman is an action platformer that succeeds in conveying a strong sense of nostalgia thanks to its graphic style and mechanics that call out the classics of the 1980s and 1990s. The game tries a simple but extremely fun structure. The gameplay is based on side-scrolling levels in which you will face enemies and overcome environmental obstacles with the goal of completing each pattern. The controls are among the most precise we have tried on smartphones, making the experience smooth and enjoyable. One of the main features of Dunman is the story mode, which offers an impersonated number in levels, each with secondary objectives, increasing replayability. Graphically, the game is an homage to 16-bit titles, but with its own stylistic identity. The design of the characters and environments is simple but charismatic, while the graphics engine performs well even in more concussive situations. Portability is one of the game's strengths, thanks to the division of levels into sections of short duration, and the presence of checkpoints that make it easy to resume the game. Dunman is a game that manages to combine the simplicity of classic platformers with modern mobile accessibility, making it perfect for those looking for a complete experience without sacrificing old-school fun. Despite being a bit old as a game, we would like to reconfirm Asphalt 8 as one of the best games for Android. The gameplay is fast and frenetic, with a variety of cars offering something for everyone, from the most luxurious models to sports cars. Each car has unique features, and customizing them for maximum performance is a real pleasure. Area stunts, spectacular jumps, and high-speed maneuvers are at the heart of the game. Bound and each race is a mix of pure adrenaline and strategy. Another highlight of Asphalt 8 is the multiplayer mode, which allows you to challenge friends and players from around the world in exciting and competitive races. In addition, the ability to play offline makes it perfect for anyone who wants to enjoy some healthy competition, even without an internet connection. With constant updates and new content, Asphalt 8 remains one of the best racing games for mobile devices. Alto's Odyssey is presented as a sandboarding adventure and endless runner. The player drives high through an ever-expanding desert, facing different biomes, each with unique dynamics and obstacles. Abandoning the snowy peaks of Alto's adventure, this sequel takes us from sand dunes lit by fascinating orange and purple hues. Although the game structure remains familiar, the change of scenery offers a breath of fresh air. Once again, the goal is to lead high down an endless slope, collecting coins and committing breathtaking snowboarding stunts. Sati, Desi, Zoti. Although we find familiar obstacles such as boulders and ravines, new mechanics are introduced, such as the length of Alto's scarf, which reflects his agility, and new power-ups such as magnets and lotus flowers. The game constantly surprises with its dynamic pace, introducing new environments and twists and turns that keep the player glued to the screen, from bouncing on balloons to swirling winds. Alto's Odyssey proves that simplicity is not synonymous with banality. With its serene gameplay, stunning visuals, and engaging mechanics, it stands as the perfect example of the endless runner. Whether you are a fan of the original chapter or newcomer to the series, Alto's Odyssey is a must-have experience. Snowboard Party Aspen is a game that immediately captures you with its energy and dynamic playstyle. Set on the beautiful slopes of Aspen, it offers an immersive experience with plenty of customization options for your snowboarder. The runs and tricks are smooth, and the ability to compete in challenge and freestyle challenges you all the time. The graphics are nice and the controllers are quite responsive, but there is no shortage of times when the difficulty of more complex tricks can be frustrating. Despite this, the variety of competitions and the wide choice of equipment make the game consistently challenging and fun. Torque and Drift undoubtedly has the potential to be an addictive game, especially for those who enjoy drifting. The graphics are great and the ability to customize the car is much appreciated, with plenty of options to adapt the vehicle to your own style. Online challenges are the heart of the game, and competition with other players is intense and challenging. Although the physics of the cars may seem a bit difficult to master at first, with the right commitment you can improve and fully enjoy the game dynamics. However, microtensing is something to watch out for, with some options being quite expensive, which might be discouraging for those who prefer to play without spending too much. Nevertheless, Torque and Drift offers a solid and satisfying drifting experience, with images of improvement that could make it even more appreciated in the future. Automatoys, developed and published by Idle Friday, is one of those experiences that suddenly grabs you, making you feel like you are part of a gear. The basic concept is simple: insert the coin and toss the ball, then mule from start to finish through a series of complex mechanics. But the real beauty is in the way these machines work. Each device is a small masterpiece of engineering, a mix of simple objects and interactions that intertwine in surprising ways. The joy of Automatoys lies in its smooth mechanics and little mysteries to solve. Each machine invites you to observe it, to understand its operation, and to operate it with ease. There are no complex controls. The game responds elegantly to actuation. Just touch the screen to interact with the wall. Each movement of the ball can bring you closer to the target or bring everything down. The art of Automatoys is in the design of the machines, which seem to have been built with the same care, detail, and beauty you would find in a physical object. The simple but charming graphics, along with excellent sound design, make the experience even more immersive. In summary, Automatoys is a beautiful experience that captures you with its brilliant design and incredibly inventive machines. The video ends here. Leave a like if you liked it and follow us for more playlists.